Hello, hi, and welcome to EmpathicFire. I am your reader, Jay. These are going to be general messages for the sign of Gemini in mid-December, 2020. What's going on, Gemini? How are you guys doing? I hope you are doing well. All right, friends, welcome to the end of 2020. Hopefully, Gemini, you're good wherever you are in the world. I hope you are safe, happy, healthy, and secure at this time. Please continue to take very good care of yourselves and those that you know and love. 2020, it is almost over. It is almost a wrap. It, in many ways, for me, it feels like this year was both super long, but then also super short. And maybe because, I don't know, whatever. But regardless, I'm happy to see it go. Obviously, not everything that has been troublesome in 2020 is going to finish on the 31st, but I'm very much looking forward to 2021. Let me know how you feel about it. Are you ready for 2020 to be out the door, in the rear view, or you're just like, it wasn't that bad. And actually, for me personally, Gemini, 2020 wasn't that bad, so, I can't really complain too much about it, actually. But regardless, we are also in the holiday season, so happy holidays to you guys. If you're celebrating anything in the month of December, happy Hanukkah, happy winter solstice, happy Hanukkah, I said that, happy Kwanzaa, thank you, and Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas also. If you're celebrating any of those holidays or all of them, whatever you're doing, please again continue to be very safe. Take all precautions necessary if you're getting together with people at this time. And hopefully you're going to have a great holiday no matter what. Gemini, any other announcements? Yes. I might do something here on the channel for New Year's Eve. I'm thinking about it. I might do it. I don't know. We'll see. But if I do, I will announce it here on the community tab on YouTube, and I'll also make an announcement over on Instagram. So check me out on both of those platforms or either of them as the new year approaches, and see if I'm actually going to do this thing. And it's not that big a deal, but I might do something, So stay tuned for that, okay? All right, that's a lot of babbling. I do apologize. So let's just go ahead and get into it. Gemini, anything you want from me, it's in the description box. So if you want the timestamp, it is down there. If you want to find out how to get a personal reading with me, that information is down below as well. And you can also find my Instagram link down there as well, okay? All right, let's get into it. For Gemini, please, in mid-December, what are the messages for Gemini in mid-December 2020? Messages for Gemini in mid-December 2020, please show me. No. That was such a weird way for it to fall out. Eight of Swords, okay. Something flipped. That's one. Did something else flip? Nope, okay. And there it is, okay. Interesting start. So, you guys got the Eight of Swords, Seven of Swords, and the Ace of Cups. Interference, okay. And futility and Ace of Cups. Gemini, it feels like keep your chin up is what this feels like, or this could be someone you're dealing with. It's a general, so it can be vice versa energy. Okay, so just plug yourself in where you feel you fit in, but this really feels like keep your chin up. Like, someone feels really screwed over, really the victim of circumstance, and that is a defeatist energy. It's not empowering. It's not helpful to you or whoever has this outlook, okay? This is defeatist energy. It's very constricting. It's very confining. It's very limited. And there's I don't want to say there's a time and a place for that, but I feel as though that is overkill in this situation. Thank you. It is overkill. It's beyond what it needs to be, because I think someone is feeling manipulated or stuck in a situation, stuck in circumstances, stuck in relationships and connections. And when you have that mindset, you rob yourself of choices. You rob yourself of alternatives and options, okay? That's what this feels like. I'm not trying to shit on anybody. I'm not trying to make anybody feel bad, but literally, well, I should say literally, but it strongly feels like somebody is making a mountain out of a molehill, and again, a victim of circumstances, playing the victim, making more out of a situation than there needs be. Like, it's sort of giving up in the middle, or seeing things go a certain way and presuming only worse things are going to happen. So let's put it that way. Let's say someone's down on their luck, or let's say someone's just had a bad turn of events. They suddenly give up everything because they don't think there's a chance to recoup or get back to square one or start over. There's like this throwing the baby out with the bathwater kind of mentality here. If it's not working now, it'll never work. If people don't like my ideas now, they'll never like my ideas, so I should never have another creative thought for the rest of my life. What? That doesn't make sense. Just because, let's say you were shopping around a book, a novel, a manuscript, right? And you go to one editor, two editors, three editors. One passes completely, one says they'll work with you, but they're kind of overloaded right now and they're not taking submissions, whatever, but they're interested in you as a writer. And the third one is just like, well, we would work with you, but blah, 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 blah. Basically, this person heard three no's, even though the last two were kind of like, maybe, and in the future, maybe something will open up. But because it wasn't an immediate, yes, we want your idea, or yes, we want your manuscript, it was taken as a full-on rejection. And that, I think, again, is like an overreaction. Because that's three out of how many editors or publishers across the world? That's number one. And then number two, in this example I just said, there was only one explicit no. The other two were, we're not accepting submissions right now, but we want to keep you in mind, kind of. We'll come back around to you in time. And the third was, we want to work with you, but there's something else that needs to be worked on first, possibly with the manuscript. You know what I mean? So, excuse me. This Eight of Swords is like somebody imprisoning themselves or hurting themselves with defeatist attitudes and victimizing attitudes. It's really self-defeating, and it's bothersome because it doesn't have to be that way. But I think someone in a certain respect has their mind made up of how they're going to react or behave or respond in the situation, you know? There's just this, well, there's nothing I can do about it. There's nothing I can do to change their minds. There's nothing I can do on my end to change my behavior or my reactions. Or, you know, again, if this was literally about like a book, a manuscript, an editor might say, we like your idea, but you got to clean this up in some type of way. Or we like your idea, but it's kind of like you mentioned some historical figures, or you need certain clearances and stuff like that. So we need you to change some of the story to avoid some type of legal situation. And that is, again, interpreted as, excuse me, that is interpreted as, well, nobody likes it. Nobody ever said they didn't like it. One second, hold on. All right, Gemini, I apologize about that. I had a coughing fit that came on, so I had to stop because nobody wants to hear that. But yeah, so this feels like someone just hears no when it's more of a maybe, or it's more of a, we'll come back to this, yeah? And I just get the sense that someone is, pardon me, someone is in a very, like a downward spiral, you know? I'm not, you know, in the position to diagnose anyone clearly, but it really feels like someone might be suffering with some type of depression, or some type of cycle within a depressive state or something like that, where they're inconsolable. They're really inconsolable. And in some cases it's workable. In some cases it's just a matter of changing perspective and, you know, seeing the bigger picture, or, you know, seeing further down the line, you know, not constricting it to a, you know, now in this present moment, I need it to be a yes, or I need this to happen. It's like, okay, excuse me. It might not happen when you want. You know, if you want it to happen by the end of 2020, that might not happen, but give it till January or February 2021 and something could break your way. But it feels like somebody's like, I don't want to wait that long, or that's way past my deadline, or no, if it doesn't happen in 2020, then it's never going to happen. It's just like this idea that it's not going to happen. And that's a forever perspective, which is silly because everything in life is mutable and changeable, and it's never static. It's a very dynamic life, and it ebbs and it flows. We have good periods, we have bad periods. We've got, the highs and lows. You know what I mean? But somebody's just like, no, it's always low. It's always going to be low forever, ever, 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 ever. And that's not true. And like I said, someone here, excuse me, could be dealing with severe depression, or they're having a really bad time pulling themselves out of it. And whether or not they're capable or willing to do that is a further question. It's sort of not a part of this reading. The Ace of Cups comes along in your reading, Gemini, and I think this could have been or is what this person is sort of dreaming about. That this is what they want. They want this new beginning. They want this reset. They want, oh gosh, that's very drab or macabre. They want a reason to keep, to stay in it, to stay interested, to stay a part of something. Like, I really feel like it's like someone has a dream, like I said, about like writing a book or something, or starting a business, whatever. It could be anything. Starting a family. It doesn't have to be about career or anything like that. It could be about interpersonal relationships. And because that's not working out, somebody feels like, well, then I'm done. My life is finished. It has no purpose. I don't have purpose. I'm not ever going to be able to fulfill my dreams because these 3 publishers told me to go kick rocks, and now I'm just like never going to be a published writer. And that's so, again, it's defeatist. And for me, as the outside person interpreting this energy, it's kind of, it's so silly, Gemini. Who is this? It could be you. It could be someone you're dealing with. I'm not sure. But the Ace of Cups, I feel, is like the reset button, or the brand new set of opportunities, or the brand new life. It's a chance at something that has never been had before. Or in some cases, this could be about, like I just mentioned, it's coming in late, but then now it's like kind of rising up in the energy. For some of you, this could be about an interpersonal relationship with family, friends, or lover, whatever, any type of relationship, really. And there could be difficulty in a connection, whether that be fighting, whether that be miscommunication or no communication, I'm not sure. And someone might want a do-over, or someone, since 8 of Swords can sometimes talk about being stuck in a relationship. And when you're stuck in relationships, speaking from experience here, a lot of times you can lose your sense of self and you don't know who you are. And so someone then gets like sort of caught in a cycle, caught in a loop, and they don't know how to get out. And they know they want to get out, but they don't know how. And so they can't get this Ace of Cups, right? The new opportunity, that new start. Therefore, there's this belief that, well, this is my life. I'm always just going to be miserable in this connection. I'm always just going to be misunderstood here. I'm always going to be unfulfilled here. And that's self-defeatist energy, because literally, unless you are tied and bound and gagged in somebody's fucking basement, no offense, you can leave any relationship you want. That's not me saying screw everybody, go live in the woods like a freaking nomad or something. No. But if you feel trapped, if you feel unheard or misunderstood and not yourself when you're in connection with another person, again, I don't care what kind of person we're talking about, what kind of relationship, family, friend, lover, otherwise, it does not matter. You have the freedom to leave unless you are bound and gagged physically. Like in truly terrible, gruesome circumstances. That is the only time I'm like, yeah, you kind of don't have a choice. Because someone literally has you tied up to the freaking wall. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. I just feel like somebody here is writing themselves off and saying, well, that's the end of my life. That's the end of any hope that I had to be and do and go where I want and have what I want and fulfill myself, or feel fulfilled in my career, fulfilled as a writer or a creative person. It's really strange. I don't understand why somebody has this attitude. So, let's see what else there is. What other information is here for Gemini regarding the situation, please? Further information regarding the situation for Gemini, please. Excuse me. Jesus, this has been coming out. Tower. I think you're like the 5th or 6th sign I'm doing for the mids. And that also came out before. 4 of Swords. Stay like that or move it back. Stay or move it back. Thank you. Move it back. All right. Anything else for Gemini? Yes. Ooh, I caught it. It didn't fall. That's good. Don't want it to fall to the floor because that creates problems. Now, side position. Do we keep it? Yes. Oh, man. So, here's what's happening, friends. Tower, secondary major for Scorpio. Also sometimes the associated with Aries. With the damn focus. I gotta like move my hand out of the way. Jeez. Alright, there you go. So, Tower, 4 of Swords, and the 8 of Cups in the side position, which I was guided to keep. And now it's changing color. Very weird. Alright, so, Tower. Something's got to give here, and it will give. You know, I feel collectively, I just mentioned this in Aquarius's reading, I just did them before you. And they had the Tower, and several other signs before you have had the Tower. Something's got to give. And if we as individuals within our very specific situations and circumstances don't make those choices, the universe, God, whatever you believe in or don't believe in, is going to make sure it happens. Okay? I've lived through at least 2 Tower moments that I'm very conscious of, and I'm in retrospect, I'm like, oh, those were my Tower moments. I absolutely know exactly. That is exact because it led to this, that, and the other. Okay? But I didn't know at the time, okay? But this Tower's coming through for many signs. I feel it's a very huge collective energy wrapping up 2020 where things that were not cohesive to our individual wellness will be dismissed from our lives. Dismantled, crushed, destroyed, gently pushed aside, whatever the form it takes. Yours, differently than Aquarius, and I hate to keep mentioning them, but I just did them, so... And I guess I'm mentioning them because of this. I told them theirs felt gentle. It's like, something's going to change, but you're going to roll with the punches and it's going to be fine. This energy in your reading, Gemini, less fine. It feels really more of a shocking upheaval, like an unfortunate thing, it feels like. Now, I'm not trying to, scare anybody. I'm not trying to, put fear into your heart or something, but it really feels like a very firm push. And to be pushed when you don't want to be pushed can feel like a violation, can feel abrasive, can feel hurtful. And that's what this feels like. It feels like somebody is going to be more hurt because of certain adherence to unhelpful things. So, the person who takes the no and the maybe from the editors and the publishers, what have you, right? And they just cross their arms, they pout, and they're thinking, well, that's the end of my creative dreams as a writer. I'm never ever going to be able to publish things, blah, 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 blah. Like, the universe, this Tower moment, feels like because someone counts themselves out, the Tower is basically going to slap them in the face. Be like, will you cut it out? Stop thinking like that. And the way that it's going to happen is not going to be appreciated in the moment. It feels really like, oh, you think this is bad? Here's something. You think like you're not, it's like trying, oh God. I'm trying to avoid using this word, but I'm going to use it because I think this is how it's going to be perceived. It is going to be perceived as a punishment, and it's not that. I feel as though someone's going to perceive the tower moment as a punishment, and it's really not. Okay, for an example, going back to this, I think this is a little bit easier to show the example. Okay, the person or whoever's in a connection, no matter the type, friend, family, lover, the spiel, and that relationship keeps someone unhealthy mentally, emotionally, possibly physically. It stresses them out. You barely get along, or it's like that. Life is great on social media, but in real life it's a fucking drag, right? Somebody continues to be in that relationship because they're convinced this is what my life should be. This is how I've always been in relation to my brother. He and I have always, gone at it like cats and dogs. This is just the way it's going to be, right? There's this acceptance of mediocrity, or damn near, like, I don't want to say abusive, but like detrimental, like accepting detrimental qualities in relationship. Okay, Tower comes along and yanks that relationship out of your life in some form or fashion. Okay, Tower says no more of that, and the reaction is going to be this: Four of Swords. Sort of punishing yourself, sort of checking out of the situation, feeling like a ghost, like a shell of yourself. Yeah? Okay? So there's suddenly, oh my God, my brother stopped talking to me. Even though we always were fighting, even though it was always something really dramatic, he and I always stayed in contact, but now he ghosted me, or I blocked him, or whatever, or we fell out of contact or something. Yeah? And there's like this, no, but I'm telling you, long run, that is exactly what is necessary, because we've had someone throughout this entire reading who has had their self-worth wrapped up in acceptance and being validated by other people, like the person who wants to be published, okay? Without being published by this particular publishing house, I'm not going to be a great writer. That's nonsense. You can be a great writer and be unpublished. You can be a great writer and be self-published. There's so many options, right? And then also going back to the interpersonal relationship, somebody feels, if I'm not validated in my relationship with my siblings, my spouse, my parents, whoever, I'm worthless. Something like that. Somebody's self-worth is wrapped up in other people or external situations, external status, and that is not the way. That is not the way to peace. That is not the way to wellness. That is not the way to alignment and balance, yeah? So someone is going to learn that lesson. Tower is initiating this lesson, okay? Eight of Cups in the side position. It's going to be a while before that is realized, before that is accepted, before that is even kind of conceptualized. And I'm not trying to make light of it, because I've walked down a very similar road. I'd say like 2-3 years ago. I was in a very similar headspace, right? I would assume, if you've been watching me for a while, Gemini, you wouldn't have known that. Because I'm just so about myself. Not like about myself in an egotistical way, but I'm really about empowering myself and empowering other people. But years ago, I was really not in this space. And that's a journey that I had to take. It took me about 2-3 years to get here, okay? I'm not saying that's the time frame for this person, whoever's in this reading, but it is a very similar energy of stepping off into a new pathway, Eight of Cups, and seeking something, but because it's in the side position, you don't even know what you're seeking. And that was also true for me in my own spiritual journey. I knew I was on a new path. I had no idea where I was going. I had no idea what was ahead of me. I had no idea of who I would come into contact with. And I had no idea I was going to end up doing freaking tarot on YouTube. I had no idea I was going to open up my spiritual beliefs and expand on what I already kind of thought I felt. You know what I mean? So there's something going on here, very deeply spiritual in some of your cases, or whoever this is. Because for some of you, this isn't you. This is a friend. This is a family member. This is a colleague. This could be your partner or your future partner. For those who aren't really connected with someone right now, this could be a future partner of yours. Interesting. All right, so we've gone on for a while here. Let's go ahead and get a card of advice for you, and then we're going to wrap up, okay? So one card of advice, please, one card of advice for Gemini. I've been getting multiple cards in the advice, and I'd really like to stop that. So one card of advice for Gemini, please. I asked for one card, and it gives me freaking two. I knew it. Hermit and the and the Two of Cups. Okay, so for those where I just said this could be a future partner of yours, I think this is good clarification for you or good confirmation for you. So we've got a Hermit, card of Virgo, so you could be dealing with a Virgo, or in the future you might be, but you don't have to be, take that very lightly. And then the Two of Cups. I think that confirms it. And, not necessarily confirms that this is your future partner, or at some point in your future you're going to meet somebody like this. Not necessarily that. But I think it confirms for the person who's in this energy, whether that be you or someone you don't know, or someone that you do know who's just a friend, they have this Hermit journey ahead of them. The Hermit is one of the cards of spiritual awakening in the tarot. And the Hermit goes back into the recesses of our minds, into our personal histories, our childhood histories, and really digs up that uncomfortable stuff, those things that we suppress and repress and we keep hidden, that basically have led us to some of our most hurtful and damaged places, or damaged states of mind, states of being, yeah? So this person, they're in something, and the Hermit's going to help them shine a light on what it is and why it is. Get to the root of the problem, okay? Hermit could come in the form of an external person, so this could be somebody who eventually goes to therapy, or somebody who begins, a self-healing journey. A lot of that is going on, self-healing, and that's kind of what I did myself, unofficially, very unofficially, but I did it. So that could be what's going on here, right? Regardless, I think whether this is an external energy, this Hermit energy, or something that resides within the person, it's helpful, okay? The Two of Cups, I think, is a revitalization of self, or a new recognition of self, especially in relationship to other people or one particular person. So, not to romanticize it too much, it could be one of those soulmate connections. And the caveat for me with soulmates, guys, is that they don't have to be positive relationships throughout, and they don't have to be lifelong, and they don't have to be romantic, okay? That's the very short and quick of my caveat with the Two of Cups, or any type of soulmate energy in tarot. But it could be, again, if this is like a therapist or a friend or someone external, that therapist, that friend, is going to awaken something in the other person. Be an example, be a beacon of hope, be a support system, and that is going to sort of revitalize the sense of self that someone had lost. And I did say that in the beginning about the Eight of Swords and the Seven of Swords. Somebody in relation to a connection they're in, or how much they strive for external status, has lost their sense of self. There's a chance to get that back. Okay? Gemini, that is your reading for mid-December. If you like this reading, please hit the like button. If you want to leave me a comment, let me know how this resonated in your life. I love to read your guys' comments, so please feel free to share them. And if you have not subscribed to the channel already, please consider subscribing. That'd be super cool, yeah? Gemini, I'm going to be back soon with your January reading, so please stay tuned for that. If you want to get at me for a personal reading, please again check the description box below on how to do that. And again, check out the community tab and my Instagram closer to New Year's Eve. I'm going to see if I'm going to do something. If I am, I'm going to announce it before. So, yeah, so just stay tuned, okay? Thank you guys so much for watching. Excuse me. I really do appreciate it. Take care. Bye.